Hello, everyone out there, Facebook, friends and family and other. Um, I'm here to start a blog um, called Growing Up Westside, in Valdosta. And I hope that all of my Westside family and friends and everybody will come on and let's just talk. We're in a pandemic and we're just sitting around. We want to talk about some issues, talk about, things that are going on around us. Just talk about how we grew up, on the west side of town, there in Valdosta. And it goes, all the way from talking about the Boys and Girls Club all the way to High Tower and more and all the surrounding areas. Those of us who grew up in that area, we know each other. We know what it was like. I just want to, talk to the community and all those who are still there, because a lot of us have gone on. A lot of our favorites, our family, our friends have gone on. And, I'm missing a lot of people right now, as I, talk on here. And if you are around someone and you see me going live right now, why don't you go ahead and get somebody to, log on and tell them, that Cynthia Scurry-Brooklin is live right now. And, tell them, why don't they join, and let's talk. I plan to come on weekly, at least once a week. Probably around this time, when I'm not doing all the other 100 things that I'm doing, just to talk about, some stuff. One thing that, let me just say, this is really a ode to me, in my life, who I am. For those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Cynthia Gail Scurry-Brooklin, aka Lady Gail. Everybody on the west side don't know my real name. They all just still call me Lady Gail, regardless of what I have done for the last 27 years. They still call me Lady Gail. So, a shout out to some of my west side people over there, like Panky, aka April Deshawn Johnson, Andrea Johnson, Mama Mamie Johnson, and the crew are over there, on that side of town. Some of you didn't live over there on our side of town, but you frequent our side of town a lot. Shout out to you, Hallbell, because I'm not going to be politically correct here right now. And to Sharon Fair, Pep. Hey, Pep, how y'all doing out there? So yeah, Trail, that's right. That's West Side, Miss Vera's crew down there on North Street. Amen. Yes, that's the crew. So I just really wanted to kind of, open up and just talk about me and what I've been doing here lately, or what I've done, in my life. I don't want to be on for too long, but I just want to, talk about, growing up West Side. So I know my family started out on North Street, and we had the Mathises next door. And like I said, Miss Vera crew was down the street. Hey, Donna, I see you watching. We had Renee Bronner and Miss Hattie and them next door to them, and Kay White and them lived on the end. It was just a lot of us that were out there, that was over there on that street. And it seemed like the west side of town was the time to be on. Because you then had the Jackson Street crew over there, which is JLO Max now. And, everybody, it was like one big family over there on the west side. Everybody knew everybody. And whatever you did, you best believe your parent was going to know. Because everybody was going to tell on everybody whose child was not doing what they were supposed to do. Well, and just a little background, about me for those who are watching who didn't grow up over there where we were. I grew up in a family where I had 4 other siblings, 2 brothers, and I had 2 sisters. My oldest sister, it was Carolyn. We call her Cal. She married Diddy, which is James Nelson. And my brother Pig, who passed on, he was a great, person, great dancer. He was the one that I admired the most, because my sister Kay used to just beat me all the time because she had to keep me and do my hair. So she was not my favorite sibling growing up. And then I had my middle sister, Teresa. She was the wild one of the family. She enjoyed life to the fullest as much as she could. So, and then that was my brother, Nene. And I always, kind of used to tell him, I don't know much about you. Because the white people was trying to take you and raise you because he was such a good athlete. My brother played every sport that was in. He played it. And I always used to tease him that I had to be his cheerleader while he played football. And then, I tried to play basketball because he played basketball. My mama made me play and go down there to the girls club every day. And then I had to play softball because he played baseball. But one thing that I always remember, and that was that the white people were always asking my mama, could they take him? Could they keep him and raise him? Because she had 5 children. And I think one of his coaches, they didn't have any children. And they wanted to keep him. And so that's why I always, I tease my brother a little bit because I remember, him, and us playing a little bit, but as we grew up enough where he could play football and stuff like that, we didn't see him often because the white people always wanted to take him his white coaches. And no offense to the white people, I'm just saying white people because they were white and I don't know their names, but I knew that they were coaches for the Boys and Girls Club. So yeah, hey Ashley and Barbara Goss. Thank you all for, chiming in on the Growing Up Westside. And if you have any comments, you all comment. I'll try to read them and then, respond back. But anyway, and then there was me. I was the last one of that 5. And I grew up in a house where it was a multi-family house. I know they have all these new names and stuff. Well, the names are not new, but we didn't call it that. We just knew we were family in the house. I grew up with my uncles in the house, my grandma, with my grandma's sisters and everybody. We all just grew up in the same house. Everybody was family. Jane Bivens them were family, because they lived over there. Miss Betty and Mr. Robert them, they were family. They lived over there. So me growing up, things may have been different, but, this is my journey. This is my story. And this is how I saw things, growing up Westside. I knew I was the youngest around. I knew that there was a church, that was next door to our house one time. And I knew it was a basketball goal. The church was between Diane Matthews' house and our house. And then it was a basketball goal. And that seemed like that used to be the place where the neighborhood came, to play. And so I would always be begging, people to play with me, because I was the youngest. And sometimes I can get, my sister Cal or Pig to play springboard with me. And I don't know if any of y'all remember that, but they would get a big brick or some bricks or a big block and get a good strong board and put it over that brick, honey, and they would jump you jump each other from one side to the other like seesaw, but I think we called it springboard. I don't know about any of y'all, if any of y'all remember that. But I'm telling you, my siblings, my older siblings, they must have been the best springboard jumpers in the world. Because that pig and cat, they could jump and turn around and do splits in the air and everything. And then came along me. Want somebody to play springboard with me. I just wanted somebody to play with me. And that's probably why I'm like I am today. And one thing that I can remember growing up, and that was, we had that big old oak tree in the front of our yard. And Jane Bivin kept telling me that he was going to build me a swing on there. I remember he had threw a rope across there, and he had tied a big tire up there that I was able to, swing on and stuff. And he would, run over there and play basketball a little bit. And then I was trying to, I would call him to come back and to push me some more. Because he was the only one that would kind of, pay attention to me a little bit. At least he would run over there and try to push me to swing and then run back to play basketball. But, everything was, it was great. And then when that rope broke and I was on the ground, Jane Bivin promised to build me another swing. And I aggravated him until he put me a board up there and built me a swing up there. And then again, I needed him to push me. But, just a shout out to Jane Bivens. If he, anywhere around, I just want to tell you, I appreciate you. If no one ever, told you how, that I appreciate you for what you did for me growing up, And so, hey, Nicole, LS, hey, what's going on, girl? Yes, Barbara Goss, yes, springboard was the good old days, yes. And so, Laura Scott, hey, thank you for watching. James Nelson, that's my nephew. Hey, I hope that's my nephew. Is that my brother-in-law? I think that's my nephew. Yeah, that's my nephew. Hey, honey. Hey, Auntie Boo. Yes, Auntie want him to eat better and have better gut health while we're in this pandemic. And I'm just kind of, switching gears just a little bit. And I'm going to go back. I'm going to talk Westside for a long time, at least once a week, because I think we all need it. And I'm very concerned. So I'm kind of full, and I love you too, nephew. And I'm just kind of, full about my old community. Because I want somebody to be able to reach out, to my community. I'm a little concerned, about us as a people right now, as a Black people right now, and what's going on. Because I see, a lot are dying in this pandemic. And one thing I try to put out there is that, let's take care of our gut health. Because, I want to see all of you on the other side of this pandemic. I just want us to try to build our immune system. I have been a part of a lot of communities on Facebook and on YouTube, and they have been doing, build my, my immune system challenge and all of these things. And I thought, what about my old community, where I lived, and I still have family and stuff that live, over on the west side, even though, I don't. And we all try to stay in contact, on Facebook. But one thing I just want to say, y'all, if you're not first thing you need to do, if you hadn't done it, is go to the doctor and ask them to check your vitamin D level. And this is a serious thing because the day is February the 1st. And this pandemic, it's mutating so badly. They're expecting more and more people to die. But that don't have to be you. That don't have to be your family in there, in your house or around you, if we can all support each other. And so one thing that they are saying is that we must have good gut health because that's where the majority of our immune system is. But some things that you can take to try to help and that is get your vitamin D level checked. And don't let the doctor tell you that your vitamin D level is it's okay. It's within range. Well, what you want to do is you want to ask your doctor, what does that mean? What is my number? I'm sorry, my husband walking through the house and he talking on his phone while I'm doing a live, you know, and so, but anyway, I'm going to go on back. Anyway, hello, baby grandmama. Hey, Miss Keisha, how you doing? I'm glad to see that you're watching. Hey, Harold. Hey, Beasley. What's up? Good that you on watching. But what I want to say, let me get back to it because I can get distracted very easily. But what I want to say is that ask the doctor, what is your number? Don't just let them tell you your vitamin D level is in, you know, a good range. Because when they told me that, my vitamin D level was like 20 something. In a pandemic, the doctors are saying that your vitamin D level should be, you know, really around, you know, in the 80s. So, you know, that was very low for me. And so I increased my vitamin D level. Wait a minute. Excuse me, Wesley. I'm on the live and the people can hear you.
Okay, baby.
Please step out the door. See, this is how we have to do growing up Westside. We have to just stop and we have to interrupt, you know, the flow of the conversation because the people in your household, they don't even care that you're doing a live. And this is my very first one. And so, but anyway, let me get back to it. Hey, Hannah Jackson. But anyway, don't let the doctor tell you that your number is okay. If your vitamin D level, some of you, you're going to find out that your vitamin D level is in a single digit. And you're going to need to increase that. And you want to increase that with vitamin D3 2000. And sometimes your doctor will even put you on a prescribed vitamin D so that you can increase your vitamin D level. Because the number of casualties from this pandemic is from people, you know, a lot of people who didn't have good vitamin D levels. And so what it did is it affected their lungs and caused them to develop pneumonia and things like that. If you can get the inflammation, and the reason I say have good gut health, because that's where most of your immune system is, and it is because a lot of the red meats, the dairy products, they cause you to have inflammation in your body. And when you have inflammation in your body, that is what that virus can use to cause your lungs to fill up with fluids. And if any of you out there are nurses, are doctors, or you got a nurse in your house, they probably have told you these things. And so you probably need to chime in and let the community know that's watching right now that what I'm telling you is correct. Or you can correct me, but it's okay. But you could start there. And also another thing that you could take is zinc. Take vitamin C, about 1,000 a day, you know, to help you with a lot of stuff. I take turmeric for inflammation. I have also limited, you know, any of the dairy foods now. And that's just during this pandemic. Because if y'all see me, y'all know I know good cooking and I like to eat, okay? But during the pandemic, even though I'm having some, I have gastroparesis, which the food is not, you know, going through my stomach like it's supposed to. And that's why I cut out eating meat and most dairy products to get rid of the inflammation in my body. And you all can read up on it because you all intelligent, honey. Let me tell you one thing about Westside. We know stuff before anybody else know it. Now, just let that rest with you just for a moment. Because if any of you, honey, know anything that go on, the Westside know it first. When I was working at the high school, my husband would call me and tell me what was going on in the building that I worked in. Because a lot of the people from the West Side, worked out there at VSU. And so the West Side crew knew what was going on before anybody else. NBC, CNN, everything. And so I'm telling you, that is just how we roll. But anyway, hey, Marcus and Marilyn. And Marilyn said that her doctor preached vitamin D to her, which is really good. Yes, yes. And Marcus, you like, okay, you take vitamin D3, the prescribed, yes. Hey, Willow, yes. So anyway, that D3 2000 takes some zinc. And another thing that's really good for inflammation, and that is ginger. If any of you, the ginger root, what you can buy from the grocery store, if you could just cut a piece of that off and you can boil it in some water, and you can add some cinnamon. Cinnamon is also good for your blood sugar, and it's also good for inflammation. Along with the zinc, you could drink it, with some tea, make you a tea to drink. And I'm only going through this because I want to see my community come out on the other side of this pandemic. Y'all, we done lost too many. A lot have gone on, and if we could prevent it, then let's do that. Let's prevent that. Hey, Crystal Butler, good to see that you're watching. We're talking about growing up West Side, and so, and I just want my family just and I'm gonna move on from this because talking about this pandemic, but you all pray one for the other, and other than just praying, y'all, let's follow what the scientists say. Y'all wear your mask. I don't care if you riding a bicycle down the street. Put your mask on and ride your bicycle, and let's be safe. And when you get up on people, y'all stand 6 feet to 12 feet back. Don't just be in somebody's face. Because, the spittles come out your mouth. And we don't know if you got COVID or not. We can't trust nobody right now. And we don't mean no harm. All we trying to do is be safe. We trying to live. We want to make it on the other side of this pandemic. Okay? And let me tell you about one other thing that you might like. And that is that some elderberry. You could buy some of those. Let me tell you what I'm using. The children, Zarbee's elderberries, taking that along, with my vitamin C and my zinc. Oh, and you know what else can help you? Some of those pre and probiotics to help you have good gut health. Because some of us, we don't know about having good gut health. And we are pushing everything that we can down in our gut. And you are suppressing your immune system, since that is where most of your immune system abide, there in your gut. We're not trying to tell you what to eat, not trying to tell you what to do, nephew. And don't talk back. Now, anyway, not trying to tell you what to do, but it's because I love you, and I just want to see you on the other side of this pandemic. So, Valdosta growing up West Side, y'all think about these little tips that I told you. And Willow Jenkins, you are so welcome for it. Oh, Lord, Travis talking about bus number 22. Lord mercy. We're going to have to get into that and talk about that on the next live, because we got a lot that we can talk about, because this is a big step for me coming on a live, because I've always kind of kept to myself. I've always kind of did my own thing in private, and but it's a big thing for me to be able to step out on this live. And I'm gonna tell you this, one of the reasons why I'm doing this is because I'm trying to help myself. I'm trying to help myself come out of a place that I have been in just too long. And that's keeping things to myself, because just being afraid of what someone else thinks. I've always let others around me shine while I stood in the background. And don't get it twisted. It's not that I need to shine or anything like that. It's just that I have suppressed my voice. And even with the information, that I have or things that I know, I really never shared it, with people outside or people maybe in my church community or in a small group. I just would not share things. And so I'm really doing this growing up West Side just really to help me and to talk to those who, kind of grew up in the same neighborhood, who saw some of the same things. And I'm looking at these things. Some of these things are the reason that I probably grew the way that I did. It probably patterned my life the way that it did. Growing up the youngest of 5, it seemed like everybody had a big family, in our neighborhood, so that's what I'm going to talk about on my live, and help myself, honey. I'm going to help deliver my own self, honey, through this and get out of this, and stop being, afraid of what someone else thinks, because everybody else has an opinion. And everybody else feel it's okay to share their opinion and how they feel. And some people are very bold about sharing how they feel. They're very vocal. And I have just, sat back and I just kind of took it, for a whole lot of years. And now, and I'm grown, y'all. I'm way grown on the other side of 50. And I am just way too grown to still be living in that life or in that shell. And you know what? And this is probably going to help someone else, to be able to come out of their shell, because a lot of you, and it's probably how we were raised. And I'm going to say that because I remember I used to have to, crawl under the step, under the porch, because our porch was real high. And you can crawl up under the porch and get behind the step and you can listen to what grown people were saying, because they ain't allow you to sit around them and talk and stuff and listen to what they were saying. And so, and you had to shut up. And I know that's a term that we don't use. We done grew up and we done been taught so much, how to be so politically correct about everything. We don't use those terms, but those were the terms that I was raised with. They told you to shut up, go somewhere and play. Children don't sit around grown folks. That's how I was taught, and that's how I taught my children. And so my children may harbor some of these same things, that I have, because we had a tendency to raise our children the way we were raised. Now, there are some things, in which I learned growing up because, of education and things like that, that I knew were better, because as we grow, we learn. And there are going to be some things, that we learn to do that were different than the way that our parents raised us. And notice I said things that are different. I did not say that they were better. I said they were different, because the way that our parents raised us was for the time period in which we were raised in. And they had to raise us the way that they did. And the times have changed. But everything that they taught us, those things were not wrong. It made us better people. Because some of us have raised our children, to feel like they grew up with a silver spoon in their mouth, and now they feel entitled. And I got 2 that feel entitled. So what our parents, taught us and what they did, it wasn't a bad thing. It was a different thing for what we needed for this time right here. See, because I'm going to say this right here, and then I'm probably going to sign on off until the next week. And then you all can tell somebody, look, watch, come back next week, because we're going to talk about, I'm going to have a topic each week. And we're going to talk about growing up West Side. See, because I remember when Howell and them had to run all the way home from SL Mason. Can somebody say, hey? Do you remember that? So, and we tried to run home too, but they left us and they didn't let nobody stop them. They ran in a group like they were a pack, honey. And you were not going to stop them because if they were late, Diana, Jackie, and them, and somebody was going to be waiting on them. So they knew they had to get home and get there quick. Y'all, we had to walk all the way to SL Mason from North Street and Adair Street. We all walked. That's growing up West Side right there. So until the next time, Marilyn says, I was taught the same way and taught mine. Don't get in grown folks' business. That's right. That's right. Hey, Ernestine. West Side, because she was at the girls' club. Yes. Yes, ma'am. Hey, girl. But yeah, we talking growing up West Side. I mean, and I'm going to continue this. And like I said, I'm going to put my voice out there. If I got something, that's going to help you, just take it. If you think, oh, I don't need that right now, take it and put it on the shelf. You might need it later, But I plan to, just have some fun on here, just talking. And we can all do so. We can talk together. And just move on. So until the next time, y'all hang in there. And always remember, where you grew up. And we grew up where? On the West Side. See y'all later.